It's so important that it was the only thing the disciples ever asked Jesus to teach them. The only thing. Now think about this. The disciples were with Jesus. They walked with him, they talked with him, they laughed with him, they experienced life with him. The only thing they asked him to teach them was how to pray. Why? If I was with Jesus, I would say, yo, Jesus, teach me how to fly. Y'all laughing, I'm serious. Peter Pan is my favorite character. True story. When I was younger, I tried to jump out my window. I thought I could fly. My sister saved my life. Not lying. Jesus, teach me how to fly. My aunt, she's in the hospital right now. She just went blind. Jesus, teach me how to open up blind eyes. Jesus teaches. But prayer, the only thing they asked Jesus to teach them was how to pray. Why? They figured it out. They would see this pattern. A lot of scholars say Jesus would get up around 3 o'clock in the morning. He would go off and do this thing called prayer. And the disciples saw, they would see him go over here and do this thing called prayer. But what was interesting, they would see Jesus also go into the community, and he would literally spend seconds raising the dead, doing all these miraculous things in the community. He did so many stuff. So many miraculous things, and it took him seconds to do it. But they would see him over here doing this thing called prayer, and it would take him hours. Jesus, you're over there spending hours doing this thing called prayer. Hours over here doing this thing called prayer, but seconds in the community. They got it. They saw the pattern. Hours over here, seconds in the community. Hours doing this thing called prayer, but seconds in your school. It's going to make sense in a minute. Hours doing this thing called prayer, but seconds in your home. They figured it out. They saw this pattern. Hours over here and seconds in the world. What did they figure out? Why was this so important? They figured out that if you spend more time with God in the morning, you'll spend less time solving the problems of the world in the day. More time with God, less time solving problems. They figured it out. And Paul understood that too. He understood that he shifted his perspective by praising, singing hymns, and praying. Paul shifted his perspective, and the Father allowed his chains to break. But that's not the point. I want you guys to get this. Your perspective doesn't necessarily take you out of your situation. What do you mean? We're talking about experiencing God. I don't understand. You're up there saying that we want to experience God. The chains broke. Although God can pull you out, the perspective shift actually does something else. What it does is it doesn't necessarily take you out of your situation, but it frees you from the power of your situation. Paul sat in a prison cell in absolute freedom. See, your perspective allows you to go through fire and not get burnt. Like the 3 Hebrew boys thrown in the fire, right? Your perspective allows you to have peace during your storms. Jesus slept in the middle of a storm. I want you guys to get this. Your perspective allows you to feel love even though you feel neglected. Your perspective allows you to have a friend even though you think you're lonely. Your perspective allows you to have peace when there's dysfunction in your home. Your perspective allows you to have power from the situation. It allows you to experience God no matter what your story looks like. I remember when my oldest daughter was born. It was the best day of my life followed by the worst day of my life. Never forget it. My oldest daughter was born, and the doctor said something that just changed everything. He said, listen, your daughter has 6 hours to live. What do you do when your story changes? What do you do when the story you're in is not the story you thought you should be in? How do you experience peace when your daughter's about to die? You know, I know someone who actually experienced the same thing I did. And he wrote a song called Miracles. I believe in you. I believe in you. You're the God of miracles. I believe in you. I believe in you. You're the God of miracles. My daughter got healed. His kid didn't. But he still wrote a song. I believe in you. I believe in you. You're the God of miracles. Listen, we both experience God. I experienced peace and my daughter got healed. I experienced God as a healer. But how was he able to write a song that says, I believe in you after your kid dies? How was he able to experience comfort after his kid died? How was he able to experience peace enough to write a song that God, I believe in you, you're the God of miracles, after his kid died? How? It's a perspective shift. Your perspective will either be your prison or your passport. How do you experience God in the middle of your storm? Here it is. Are you focused on your story, or are you focused on the author? Are you focused on your story, or are you focused on the author? God, we want to experience more of you. But sometimes life hits us. But I want to encourage every single one of you in here that no matter what your story is, no matter if your story shifts, no matter what your story is, that your freedom from the power of the situation is just a shift of focus away. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this time. It's time just to be with you. God, as we leave this place, allow us to keep our mind, keep our hearts stayed on you, because again, our strength, our joy, everything is found in you. And we understand, God, that if we focus on you, that no matter, again, what our story looks like, no matter what life throws at us, God, even though you may not necessarily take us out, God, we can rest assured and have faith and believe that it won't affect us. We honor you, we worship you, we love you, God. In Jesus' name, amen.